You could do lots of things. The list of priorities is endless. But how do you pick out those things that truly make a difference for your customer?
You always talk about, customer-centric technology, right? And that's fantastic. But maybe expand on that. What does that really mean? And actually, where do you begin when you're trying to build this type of technology environment?
It's really simple, isn't it? At the top level, it's put yourself in the customer's shoes and try to build experiences, whether it's in the retail sense or technology that allows them to do whatever they're trying to achieve in an easier way. So being customer centric from that point of view about what you're trying to achieve usually is reasonably straightforward. Doing it from a technology viewpoint can sometimes be much harder. If you think about a lot of retailers dealing with either legacy environments or competing priorities, whatever it might be, being customer centric usually starts with what's the problem you're trying to solve. I'm sure we'll touch on that theme again, but technology is fantastic, and technology's got the ability to make lots of things easier for us. But technology for technology's sake hasn't really ever helped much. Sometimes not doing things is actually in some ways more important than the things that you do. You could do lots of things. The list of priorities is endless. But how do you pick out those things that truly make a difference for your customer? And we've still got a long way to go in everything that we do. We've made some great strides, etc. But the happy path probably works really well, but the unhappy path for customers is something that if you're really frustrated and you're a customer, how do we make that as easy as possible for you to achieve? So, whatever you're trying to resolve. And I think those things are always, being customer centric from a sales point of view, actually, I think we're pretty good at in retail. I think it's the follow-up services and that cost to serve as businesses are under commercial pressure to be as efficient as possible. It's always a challenge.
And then for you personally, just when you're considering new technologies, is there any set of criteria that you go through or check off each time? And also, I welcome your thoughts on any of these factors that you think other COOs may forget.
Well, the second part's really hard to answer, but let's give it a go. I think from a technology standpoint, there are clearly all the obvious things that we think about. My first protocol is really around, do we really want to build a buyer partner on this? We're pretty clear. I think I've tried to be pretty clear about where do we want to invest our money to make the biggest difference. So, clearly if you can buy something and you're not going to bespoke it, more than 15, 20%, then that kind of makes sense. The moment you start going beyond that, then you should really be talking about the builder partner territory. I think the usual things, commercials are always important, and, security, and even more so these days, environmental concerns. So, the environmental aspect's hard to get to grips with in some respect. There's great onus on organizations and, whether it's retail or other sectors to do their bit and they're not greenwashing and publishing the right objectives. But I think there are lots of micro decisions that we probably make that with an environmental lens, you can make a more positive decision. Particularly if it doesn't cost any different, why wouldn't you? So I think that becomes more conscious than it has done previously. But from a COO point of view, I think you take every decision based on the merits of the information you've got, run it against a set of criteria that probably hasn't changed that much in the past 10 years. And then you make the best decision you possibly can. And that's with the information you've got. Do they all turn out to be right? Well, let's hope so, but that's not usually life.